I installed a MaxMate roll-up tonneau cover on my truck. Before starting your own install, watch this for some key steps that are not included in the manufacturer's instructions. Hey, I'm Kevin, and today I'm going to be putting a tonneau cover on my 2015 Ford F-150. Now, you might ask yourself, why might you need a tonneau cover? Well, a couple of reasons. Trucks are great when you want to carry stuff, but they're also not great when you have things that can blow out the back, or if you have things that you want to kind of keep covered, maybe your luggage or some different things like that. And as big as the crew cab is in this, I still need that additional space a lot. So I had a tonneau cover on my last truck, and I actually had that installed at a shop, and it was $550 for the cover and installation, and it had a lifetime warranty. The warranty apparently covered, the fabric if it rotted out and whatnot. I had the truck for 7 years and the fabric was still good. Today, I'm putting this on. This cost me approximately $189 off Amazon in the fall of 2023. Prices like to change. And my thought was, I could go back and have that put in and have a lifetime warranty, or if it went bad, I could replace this and I'm still not at the same price that I paid before. So I think that this is going to be the best option. All right, so we're going to start off and we're going to unbox this. We're going to lay out our parts and we're going to look at the directions. I've never installed one of these before. Shouldn't be too difficult, but I want to take you through and show you how to do it. Okay, so the brand of this tonneau cover is MaxMate, and we got it off of Amazon. You can find that link on our website at www.befreebenson.com. It seemed to be one of the most reasonably priced ones. Also, the bed on this truck is very, very small, so your truck may be priced a little differently. If you click on the link though, it'll take you there. You get to choose your vehicle and the size for your application. All right, so right out of the box, I'm actually impressed because the fabric is actually contained in a protective cover bag. Now, this is not real heavy-duty material, but that shows me that they've taken a little extra time. Looks like we've got the rails, 3 rails. We've got our directions. We've got a seal that we're gonna have to put in. And then it looks like we have the hardware, which includes the clamps to hold on the rails around the sides. So now I'm gonna pull all this apart, lay this out, get out the directions, and unsheath the fabric. Okay, so as I'm unboxing the rails, they actually have a nice seal that's already underneath. So what I'm assuming is, I said 3 rails at the beginning, I meant to say 2. This part is probably for the rail that's built into the fabric for the back. All right, so we got our directions here, and let me pull out the clamps. And what this has on the, it's actually right on the packaging. It shows that it has to be inside the channel, and gives you a little bit, don't over tighten the clamps. All right. Looks like we've got 6 clamps that are all the same. The 2 rails. Now I'm going to take out the fabric. Okay, so not only do they have it in the thing, but they also have a little bit of shrink wrap on there as well to hold it together. So now what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to lay this piece down just so we don't scratch up or snag the material. And I have to say, everything feels very good, very high quality. The cover that I had on my Chevrolet, really didn't feel any higher quality than this. Okay, so it looks like we've got a rail here as well. So I'm wondering, we'll find out where this seal is. It says, oh, look at that. Well, we want to know what the seal is for. It actually comes with here's what I like. This came with directions on the actual parts, and this has directions right on it. And it says apply this seal. I can't read upside down. Apply this seal to any gap along the bed rail lower than the side rails or wherever needed. So this looks like this is just extra stuff if we need it. The neat thing about the directions too is right on the very front. Tools required: a ratchet wrench, a 10mm socket, a Phillips head screwdriver. A very simple list of tools. Then it has the items list. And it looks like you can check off based on what your needs are. That's how they package it. So we have the bed cover, we have the side rails, we have the mounting clamps, and we have the seal strip. So we have got all of the items that they say are supposed to be here. Our first step is to take this, the rail that's attached to the fabric, and set it up in the front. And what I'm going to do when I put that in there, I can already see that I've got a gap in between here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little, I'm going to use some of that seal, probably long ways, that I'll put a little piece down in there to fill in that gap. And I'll do it so it's a little bit bigger than the hole, and I'll do it on the other side as well. And then what I'm going to do is, after I do that, I'm going to set it on there and I'm going to look and see if I can see any gaps. Of course, one of the reasons why you put these covers on is to make sure that things will stay dry. So now what I've done is I've cut something to the length, but this is a little bit wide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right down the middle so I can use it for both sides. And I will make it squeeze in. And sometimes if you have good scissors, it's a little easier than using a razor blade. They're a little bit more controllable. Just remember, everything you ever needed to know you learned in kindergarten. Okay, so this is a little bigger than the hole, so that's what I wanted, to create a nice seal in there. See if I can get it down so it's tucked in there good, but yet still going to provide some seal for it. And I'm just going to leave that little end out there and trim it later if I absolutely need to. So we're going to try to push this into this gap. Try to make it, it's a little bigger than the gap, which is good because I want it to make sure that it fills in that spot very well. But I do want to try to get it to seal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the frame across here, and we're going to look for any gaps underneath and see if, does this line up well? How does it work? And you know what's interesting? I see a little bit of a gap for about the first 4 or 5 inches here, and actually further along. I'm going to probably go ahead, let me make sure I have enough to go across. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this across the entire thing. The gap, let me kind of lift it up so you kind of see the white in beside there. And then when you come down, you can see it's still a gap there. I'm going to peel and stick this. Okay, I'm going to go to the very center here. And I've measured this, but as I kind of pull it a little bit, I'll probably have a little extra left over down at the end here because I don't want this to have gaps as I'm putting it down. Okay, so this has a little bit of a curvature to it, so I want to make sure a couple things, that I have it covered, and also I do want to make sure that I've got it lined up evenly between the different sides. Okay, so the next instruction piece that we have is to pull these screws out so that there's a place where the railing can slide over that, and then we're going to tighten up the screw again. So I've got this flipped up just to make it easy for me to get that over. And I'm going to see, those are going to have to pull out because for it to get back in. So I'm going to put that in my pocket so I don't lose it. Going to do the same thing on the other side. Just get that out. Then what I'm going to do is line it up with my railings. I don't have it pushed all the way back yet because I want to make sure that I can basically fiddle faddle with these. So this is going to slide right up on the rail, and let's see if I can get it pushed in better. Got to get it in there firmly. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put my screw in here. I'm not going to tighten it super tight or anything. I'm just going to make sure it's in there just so it holds it and it doesn't fall off and scratch the truck. Other side, we're going to do the same thing. It's a little dirty there. I must have stuck it in the dirt. And we're going to slide that in and push that till it's snug in there. Then we are going to take our screw and put it back in. And we're going to make sure that it's just snug. All right, so the number of clamps that they provide you is based on the size of your bed. Based on the size of this bed, it's small. There's 6 clamps, 1 at each end basically, and 1 in the middle is kind of how it would be. You would evenly space these if it was more clamps on your application. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the clamps in place. We're not going to tighten anything because then we have to get everything in place before we start tightening stuff. So next thing is we're going to have it in a relatively right spot, and then we're going to get the clamps in place. So for my first clamp, I am going to, look at my little directions about what it says about being inside the channel. So that looks like that's inside the channel like that. And then coming down here. So I think you might be able to, yeah, okay. You can kind of do that without having to have it locked in just yet. Looks like that's going to tighten up like that. So that'll be good. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and place these in place. And if you have something that is not exactly centered, because like I've got a little rib that comes out here, you just do it close to that. It doesn't have to be exact. You just want it to be pretty close. And we want to be pretty close on this one, as it's the one that'll provide the entire tension for the front seal. There you go. You might have to loosen it up a little bit too tight, or you may have to get it started in one spot and then move it. And again, I think the most important part is making sure that you're in the channel correctly. Repeating the process on this other side. One other thing about quality that I like is they used an aircraft or a nylon style nut on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my drill. It says not to over tighten, so I'm using my drill with a torque setting it on a relatively low torque setting. Also using my little adapter for a 3/8 inch drive. You can find the link to that on our website at www.bfreebenson.com. These are cool things to make things work a lot easier in your favor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically, well, you know, this was 10 millimeter. It's not 10 millimeter. Either that or I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed a 9. All right, so now I've got the right size. Eyesight is the first thing to go as an old man, so what I'm going to try to do is make sure this rides up nicely together. Okay, pull my clamp together by my hand a little bit. We're going to go ahead and make sure that these are straight going down the rest of the way. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to unroll the cover. So I'm going to bring this out. They did a very good job packaging the fabric to make sure that it wasn't damaged. So I'm impressed. All right, so now what I'm doing is when I unroll this, the pieces that are supposed to go in here are not lining up. So you want to make sure that your cover is good and tight all the way along. Now we are almost there. See how this is just a little off right there? And this side, it's fitting in. So this side has to come over more. Or both sides have to be separated out more. All right, so now it's lined up. But here's one thing I didn't think about. These are a lot skinnier at this end than they are at the other end. So it's actually an optical illusion on the line. It's not really going straight. So, so now we're going to see if it will pop itself in. And it looks like that's the release. So let's see if it'll. All right, so that pops itself in. So here's the release right here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the tailgate up. Okay, so this works. However, right now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to adjust the whole bed cover just a little bit this way. Why, might you ask? Well, right now it's right up on the edge. I've put it pretty snug near the top, but I don't have enough coverage on the tailgate. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to release this, basically go right back up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see on here how far I want to go down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up one side, scooch that down, then loosen up the other side and scooch that down. So the lesson I've learned here is when you put your rails on, make sure that they're going to go far enough. You're probably still going to have to lay it out like we did though, but just be cognizant of the fact of where your tailgate's going to be. So now I'm going to bring this back down. And when these clump up because they have bars that are rolling with them, you occasionally have to kind of give it a little bit of a tug to get it lined up correctly. Okay, that is actually fitting quite well. We got our seal up across the front. Now, the only thing I don't love, this is kind of right on the edge of this, and because this bed is not, they don't do the bed trim straight, I don't like the fact that it gets skinnier as it goes along. I mean, I kind of wish I had a cover that actually was wider at the front and got skinnier at the back, which it doesn't. But I'm actually pretty tickled with the way it worked out though, because it is a nice cover. Now that this is out, I don't think I'm going to need I was thinking I was going to need an additional seal. I don't think I'm going to. So then again, you got a little ripcord right here that kind of pops it to open it up. When you're done, what do? You roll it right back up. Roll it right back down. One of the reasons I like these better than some of the other ones, the trifolds and different things like that, is it feels like it's just real easy to get it up out of the way when you have a lot of stuff in here. Also, because they're not super expensive, you know, if you were to tear it up, doing something, hauling something, you know, yeah, it's not fun, but it wouldn't be the end of the day. I always like to go back over things by hand, just to make sure they're snugged up where they need to be. The drills save a lot of time, but I usually always set it to a low torque setting, then I can go back and do it by hand. Easiest way to roll these, just from the side, as you're going along. It starts getting caught up on the other side, just kind of give it a little push. Get down to the end, make sure you're in the grooves. Give it a pull, locks into place. Now, you don't want to mess up your seal like this, so you always want to have your tailgate shut though. also has some hooks up here that you can use when you're riding with it up, and you can tighten those up and hold that in place. There's one on each side. This is actually a very easy one to put in. You do want to make your adjustments because you want to make sure it's lined up correctly. One thing to watch out for too, where I wasn't thinking about it before, is your lines on your rails may not be actually straight. Also, you want to make sure that everything is going to be watertight. So I will let you know by the time this video gets released. I'll probably have this on for a few days, so I'll be able to tell you if there's any water leakage and if I had to do anything different. Okay, so this installation went pretty well. I had to make a couple of minor adjustments. Took maybe less than an hour to put it in with everything. Good quality item. If you want more videos like this, you can check out our channel at Be Free Benson DIY. If you want to see the items we use, the tools, the different stuff like that, you can go to www.befreebenson.com and we'll have all of the things you need there as well. If you found value in this video, go ahead and hit that like button and also subscribe to our channel. It really does help us continue to bring this content to you. As always, doing things yourself, keeping your stuff dry and then keeping it from blowing out going down the highway. All these good things allow you to be free. See you in the next video.